Not that. It's all about balance, flexibility, stamina, and then we'll get you stronger. But you can only get stronger if your body is balanced, because what good is strength if you're out of alignment? So thank you very much for your time.
Do you have any questions? I mean, are you kind of scratching your head and saying, hey, this is pretty cool, but I'd really like to ask a question? Yes, please.
Well, Lucas made a comment earlier talking about being fortunate having Mike Taylor and Randy on the range at Sea Island. Will this program allow the average golfer the same access, whether it's Mike Taylor or Randy or not?
Yes.
A swoosh instructor.
Exactly, because the online tool that's actually already going to go up on the NG360 website is I want that same opportunity, so they'll be able to go into the locator and they'll find somebody that Nike Golf and the Gray Institute has certified. The good news is that our certification process is very, very stringent. In other words, in order to be certified, you have to have an in-depth knowledge of everything that we've talked about, and you have to have the ability to encourage and to find out where that athlete is and to immediately figure out what's the best for that athlete. So we'd expect them in that if they didn't have balance, it's one thing to say, well, I want you to have balance. It's another thing to say, and I'm going to help you with their balance. So let's say you find somebody like me that's just struggling and I quickly realize that it's my foot. We'll quickly teach you what mobility exercises and what stability exercises that you can have balance, integrate into the golf game and go, wait a minute, this is awesome. Here I am in my little town of Adrian, Michigan, and I have access to the best of the best, very similar to Lucas. And so the goal is to get this out to the masses, but make sure that the information is scientifically based and make sure the information is going to empower the golfer and give everybody an equal opportunity to improve. It's a
One
great,
of the
great
things
question.
that's related to that is that Nike Golf from the very beginning, from the very top, said this is not for everybody, the certification program. So when they go through the functional performance system and they become golf performance specialists, as Gary said, it's stringent, it's a difficult program. And their directive to us in creating this was, it's not for everyone, it's for the best of the best. And if Nike Golf's goal is to change the game and the sport of golf, they said we want the best of the best. And we want to have both golf teaching professionals, golf coaches, and movement specialists that both have the same skill set. They'll use it in different ways. But just like you asked, how is the average Joe golfer going to access this? And that's what the program is about. It's creating a network of people that they'll be able to access. Once they want to go beyond what they get on the app, online, they say, I need to know more about these exercises. There'll be someone there to help them.
Yes, please.
Yeah, a question for the three trainers. Since we're in Fort Worth, what is your take on how Ben Hogan was the best hitter of the golf ball, given that he had a battered body?
That he had what?
A battered body.
Let me start and then you can go.
All right. Sounds good.
What I would say is, and when you're looking at the golf swing, obviously there are certain prototypes as the body evolves, and in his case, being shorter to the ground, thin in stature, with good range of motion, I think he was able to create stamina enough to hit a lot of golf balls to perfect his range of motion. So first and foremost, if you look at those things, he had certainly what we were talking about. He was flexible enough. He was a lean guy, really fit, could turn pretty well. From the videos I've seen, he did it repetitively. So you got a good start. You got a good piece of clay to start, and then you go into the next.
No, I think that's the question. I have had the privilege of working with some of the best athletes across the board, not only golfers, but basketball players, hockey players, football players. And I'm intrigued by that same thing. In other words, what makes you so good at this? And if we had the opportunity to interview Ben right now, we would say, sir, I would really like to know what makes you good at this. The greatest athletes say it's a combination of two things. I have a certain giftedness, but I work my butt off to take advantage of that giftedness. In other words, we all have certain giftedness, but we know in this room, you guys could go out and train forever, but you may never run a 4-minute mile. And you'd say, well, you're going to have to train harder. You know, I want you to go out and run more. And you say, well, wait a minute, I'm not sure. So we all have what we call a physical threshold and what we call a motivational behavioral threshold. Again, when you look at Ben Hogan, and again, this was brought to our attention, but there's when you load your golf club, the load and explode is the most important thing. And you load in your feet, and your knees, and your hips, and your trunk, but you also load in your wrists. Ben had a unique ability to take his thumb and touch his forearm. Well, that's a beautiful load, especially if you want to play the game of golf. Now, if he was a basketball player and he had that kind of deviation, he'd have the worst basketball shot in the world. So he was gifted for that beautiful game of golf, but he may not have been gifted for the game of basketball because his wrist deviation might have actually put a spin on the ball, and he might have, shot in a way that his coach might have looked at him very low and says, son, you might want to take up a different game. So it's wonderful when we celebrate the best of the best. They'll tell you that, hey, I have certain giftedness, and he's a gifted gentleman, but he still works his butt off. And that's what we want to do at Nike Golf. Say, whatever your giftedness is, we don't care, but we're going to help you work your butt off to get as good as you can get. So that's a neat question.
I'll add to that, Jeff. I think you just wanted it more than anybody else.
That's a big part. Big part of it.
Yeah. Battered or not, and probably more so after the wreck, because everybody told him he couldn't do it.
Other questions?
It's a great question. Yes, please.
Lucas, did you always take fitness seriously? Or,
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. I avoided workouts in college like the plague. And I was so scared of being sore. I was so scared of getting like in the year 1999, what everybody thought lifting weights would do was that. It took me until my second year on tour, and Mac taking me to see Randy and saying, this is going to be tailor-made for golf. This doesn't have anything to do with mass or bulk or losing your turn or being sore. This will be tailor-made for you. So no, until 2005, March 2005 was the first time I saw Randy when he was still at PGA National. And we've been together ever since, and started there on a Tuesday night with him and said, Randy, I got to practice tomorrow. I got to play Thursday. I don't want to be sore. He goes, you won't be. Now, the first time I met him, I was, you sure? He goes, promise, just do what I tell you. I was like, all right. And then after every exercise, we stretched that muscle group in a specified way. I woke up Wednesday morning and not sore. Went and had a good practice. Same thing. I saw him 5:30 every day, Tuesday through Saturday. And,
Helps you shot 64 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Or I might have not had a job at that point, but
But no, I didn't. Just to be very candid, I did not. I was scared of it, and because I didn't know about it. Randy kind of showed me the light a little bit, and I'll still say I'm not the most dedicated in the world throughout the season, but in the off season I work hard, and my off weeks I work hard. But I'm not in the gym every day on tour, but I go a lot, not as much as some guys.
But I will say that goes with our philosophy. Our philosophy is that you maintain on the road and you rest and you play golf. And when you're home, you train and you get up early and you try to simulate as much as you can what you need to do to be successful. So, golf is a little different. It's not like going out here and, lifting heavy weights and showing off on Monday and Tuesday and by Friday afternoon not being able to make a 3-foot putt. It's finesse, it's touch,